It's cold outside, and nothing makes me feel better than getting cozy under a blanket. So I'm going to show you how to paint some plaid today. This is a collaboration on YouTube with a common canvas, and it's called a limited paint palette, where we've been challenged to paint something using a very limited palette of primary colors plus some black and white. So I had you worried. I'm not going to use the acrylic. We pulled out my Dollaroni Aqua Fine watercolor set, and I'm going to just show you. I'm going to grab the primary colors here. I'm going to mix up just a little bit of pure red with the water. At first I grabbed some orange, but it was too orange. So we're gonna grab the red that's next to that here in just a second. So yep, that's the way. Just grab a wet paper towel and take that color off. So you'll see I go into this red, and it's a little bit of a pinky red, but it's the reddest red that I have here. So I'm just mixing up a good bit of that, cleaning my brush, and I'll go in and add the other primary colors. I'm going to do some true blue, a nice primary yellow, and a green. Then you'll see I mix a little bit of black here in a second, and we're just going to work from those colors. I'm just using some Canson watercolor paper today and a number 1 round brush. Grab my pencil, and I'm just very lightly sketching in like a triangle. This is my version of a blanket, a watercolor blanket. And then after this, you'll see we do a little scarf. So this is my version of a tartan plaid. So what I'm going to do first is dip into the red, and I'm going to use it pretty saturated with color, but with enough water that it does run across the page. So you'll see here, I'm just going to start on one side. I'm going to press down to flatten the bristles out, and I'm just going to pull them across. I'm not going for perfect edges. When I do watercolor, I love a soft edge. I love that things are a little wonky, that colors are not solid and that they're opaque. I like that softness. So I'm just going to do 2 red lines kind of tight together. I can add some more color, but I want to leave some parts of that so that they're see-through. Then I'm going to just choose a little bit of space and then do 2 more lines right there. So using the red, you're going to continue doing that all the way down your piece. So I just brought it in a little closer so you can see better, but you're going to do 2 lines somewhat close together, then you're going to skip, and it doesn't have to be perfectly spaced, but you want to try to keep them about the same. You'll see right there I didn't have enough water on my brush. That's what happens if you don't have enough water. So I just added some more water and kept going. So 2 close lines, and then spread them out. Now that bottom line, because that's where my blanket ended, you would only see 1 line of the plaid. So then I'm going to do it the same thing, only going up and down. So I'll do 2 lines, same width, close together. I'll give a good space, and I will just continue that across my blanket. Clean that brush now and choose another color. And since we just wrapped up with the Christmas holiday, this would be great to put in your pocket for next year, guys. Wink, wink. So save this video. And if you're not already, be sure to subscribe. But make sure you like this video so that you can come back to it for next year when you want to make all your projects with a tartan plaid. So you'll see here I grabbed some green, and I'm going to stay to the top of those red lines, and I'm just going to do 1 thin green line across each, and then on the other side, going up and down, I'm going to stick to the left of my red lines, if that makes sense. You just want your lines to sort of be the same where they're placed. If you're doing like 2 to 1, 2 to 1 ratio of your lines. But remember, there is nothing perfect in the world, so your art doesn't have to be. You'll see here, I'm just going to go in and put another tight, nice thin little line tight up against the other green lines that I just put on there. And that was to give it a little bit of time to dry, right? So then you'll see I flip back and do the lines up and down tight right next to the other green lines. And you'll just finish that. Could have stopped right there, but I feel like it needed something. So I'm going to grab some of my black. And like I said, this is a very, very limited color palette. So I'm just going to come in with some of that watered down black and add some, I want to call them highlights, but that wouldn't be the right word. Now keep in mind, my lines are not perfect, and you'll see here where they get a little bit wonky and I put them in the wrong spot. But really, when you take a step back and look at it, you can tell that it's a tartan plaid, and it's fine. Again, please, perfect is boring. Just do the best you can and have fun. So I'm just going to finish adding some black stripes both up and down, just to add a little bit of, I don't know, it needed that. It needed that. So I'm going to finish adding the black here. Now, to keep it from looking like just a little square, which could have been a package, I'm going to outline the whole thing with a little bit of the black, and I'm just going to pull some really fine lines, which would be like tassels or some fringe at both ends of the blanket. And you'll see here in a minute where I will mix some of the red and the green to create a brown color, because I'm not using brown. It's not a color that is available to me in my limited palette. So mixing two complementary colors will give you a brown. So red and green, and you'll see I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow using that color. And I apologize because I was zoomed in too far. You could not see me mixing the red and the green. So take my word for it. If you mix a little bit of your red with a little bit of your green, you will get a nice brown color that you can add shadow with. This works with any complementary color. So go ahead and have some fun with that. But I'm just going to finish adding the fringe on both ends of my cozy little tartan blanket. And then I'm going to show you how you can use these same colors in this color palette and just get a completely different vibe in a second, just by switching up the colors that you use. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a different pattern. I'm showing you here that if you are ever limited to a get ready your color palette, we'll do you can mix your colors. You know, think back to when you were in elementary school. Blue and red make purple. So I'm just showing you that. You can adjust the amounts that you mix together and make different values of that color. So here on the side, you'll see I want to do a scarf, but I wanted to do it in more happy springtime pastel-y colors. So I'm going to mix the red and the yellow together to give us a nice pretty orange. And then you'll see I'm going to just draw a little bit of a scarf here. So it's basically a rectangle, but I've made some curvy edges to it. And we're going to just paint 2 lines of each color across the scarf. So it's important to remember you're going to go across from side to side, but you need to switch from top to bottom or bottom to top, up and down, so that it's not just straight. This way it becomes more of a plaid. This is more like a multicolored gingham than it is a tartan. Believe me, I am not an expert on plaids, but I am very obsessed with them right now, which is why we're painting them. But you'll see here, I'm just repeating the same color pattern. I'm using 2 lines of red, 2 lines of orange. Then I'm going to switch back here and I'm going to do 2 lines of yellow. We're going to do that from side to side, and then we're going to finish it off by doing it from up and down, or top to bottom. So let's finish that off. And just like we did on our little blanket, I wanted to finish off the ends of my scarf with some fringe. So I love the brightness of that yellow, and I thought it would look pretty, so I'm just pulling it across the whole thing on both ends of the scarf from top to bottom. And then you'll see that I go in and add a little bit of another color to give a little bit of a shadow there. I'm not using a complementary color, but I'm just putting a little bit of that red where I want to create a shadow for the scarf. And I just wanted to remind you, if you have not done so yet, please hit the subscribe button, like this video, and give it a share if you like what you see. Grab your watercolor and have some fun. You don't have to have every color under the rainbow, whether you're using watercolor, paint, or markers. As long as you have your primary colors with some black and some white, you can make every color under the rainbow. So grab your paper, give this a try. If you do try to paint some plaid, I would love to see your work. Post on socials using the hashtag Lolly Doodle Studios videos. That way I can see your work. There are links below where you can visit the website. I do have a monthly subscription group coming up where we learn brush lettering, we do watercolor, and also some acrylic projects. Make sure that you go and watch the other videos in this limited palette playlist, excuse me. You never know, you just might find a new favorite artist. And with that, stay warm, stay cozy, and happy painting, my friends. Bye.